welcome back to another vlog. And as you can see the board behind me, we are here in Jaffna and we are going to be exploring some really interesting sites and a lot of places here in Jaffna with Fox Resorts. There's going to be a few parts as well, so stay tuned and let's explore Jaffna. We checked into Fox Resorts Jaffna and had an amazing but a quick lunch, and we got changed because we have quite a lot of things we want to get done today, and we are right now going to head out. So we'll definitely take you guys with us to some of the beautiful places here in the city of Jaffna. The Nallur Kandasamy Temple is about 3 kilometers off of the center of Jaffna, and this is actually a 15th century Kovil which is dedicated to Lord Murugan, who is the god of war, love and beauty. And the foundation for the Kovil was laid in 948 AD, but due to so many foreign invasions, the Kovil was moved within Nallur multiple times, and finally during the 13th century BC it was established right here by a minister to the then king Kalingamaga. And this Kovil carries a lot of religious as well as social significance to the Tamil majority Hindu devotees, so much so that whenever they build Kovils around the globe, they carried the same name, Nallur Kandasamy, to honor this Nallur Kandasamy Kovil that we have right here in Jaffna. We are at the St. James Church in Nallur, which is one of the most grandest British churches in the Jaffna Peninsula, and this church was approved by the Commissions of Ceylon in 1817, and this is actually the original site of the Nallur Kandasamy Temple, which was destroyed by the Portuguese. And until 1995 you could actually see the original Sivalingam in the vicarage of the church up until the recapture of Jaffna by the armed forces, and this was made an archaeological site, declared an archaeological site in 2011. third site that we are at today is the Sangilian Thoppu, which is what's left of what was once the entrance to a palace. So what you see behind me, the arch, it was actually the palace's gate, and this has a lot of strong resemblances to the Dutch colonial era of architecture as well, and this is now actually an archaeologically protected site since 2007. I would say to be very wary and mindful when you're visiting here, because as of recently, this was not there the last time, but as of recently they had put up a notice saying that the building is very unsafe, so to not enter the building as well. Upon the death of Erythrimana Singham in 1617, multiple people laid claim to the throne, of which Sankili II, the dead king's nephew, was one, but along with the former king's brother and an influential chieftain. But eventually the king's son was named regent instead. King Sankili II then had all claimants as well as the princes killed and took the throne for himself, proclaiming himself as the king of the Jaffna kingdom. But the Portuguese colonists who had settled in Colombo didn't recognize his reign, and barely 2 years later he was executed by the Portuguese. And so came the abrupt end to a long line of Arya Chakravarti kings who had ruled over Jaffna for over 3 centuries. The Sangilian Thoppu, being all that remains, is a silent monument to the once great kingdom of Jaffna. We are at the Jaffna Clock Tower, which is one of the landmarks of the city, which was built to commemorate the visit of Albert Edward, who was the Prince of Wales, in 1875 to Ceylon. The Jaffna Public Library is where we are at, and it's just mere meters away from the clock tower. And this is one of the most significant attractions of Jaffna, because one is this was the largest library in Asia, with over 97,000 books being stored inside this library. It was built in 1933, and in the 80s it was decorated as one of the most largest libraries in Asia. And unfortunately in 1981, due to the civil conflict, this library was burnt down, which resulted in it losing most of its very interesting and very significant manuscripts and books as well. And it was restored much later on, but the original manuscripts and the books were never replaced. We are at our last stop of day one, which is the beautiful fort of Jaffna, which is very popular among a lot of people for its shape. So to give you a little bit of the history of the fort, this was actually built by the Portuguese between 1618 and 1625. And then soon after the Dutch kind of invaded the country, they lost the fort in 1658, and then the Dutch are the people who actually built it into this very unique pentagon shape for, of course, protection, and also built a moat around it. And then in 1795, again, the ruling of the fort changed into the hands of the British, and it stayed with the British until 1948, which was when Sri Lanka gained its independence. So we are here and we are going to just walk around and see the place, because as you can see there's a lot of little monuments and original structures and scatterings of all these things around. So we're going to take a walk and see and show more of the fort and tell you guys a little bit more about it as well. Today, the 400-plus-year-old fort is a visceral reminder of Sri Lanka's colonial past as well as a maritime heritage. The massive fort complex overlooks the Jaffna lagoon, and while much of it remains intact, a certain part of the fort had to undergo extensive restoration efforts. The fort is known as one of the greatest Dutch forts in Asia, owing to the extensive alterations they made to the original Portuguese design, including adding defensive triangles to mirror something similar to a snowflake. The gorgeous fort is settled within the borders of a pentagon, which is in turn surrounded by a moat. The fort's walls were constructed with a combination of mortar, brick, stone and coral, and to this day are mostly hidden underneath grassy slopes. We are back at Fox Resorts, and yeah, of course we freshened up, had a lovely dinner as well today, and the hotel is really busy too, which is really nice to see. And yeah, we are going to call it a day and get some really well-deserved good rest, because we also have an exciting day coming up tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's it from us for day one. Catch you guys tomorrow.